Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Atlanta, Southeast, East Coast, West Coast, Central Coast, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being at the Daily Huddle. Today is Monday, January 13, 2025, and I am excited to be with you today. And I do have my heart reaches out to California and the fires and to everyone in the world who's going through some distress. Tough times for a lot of people, and I can't be more present to my blessings. Good morning, Sorrel. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning California, Gio. I have a number of friends there whose homes have been decimated, whose relatives are staying in shelters. So, in addition to counting our blessings, I also want to count on the world's compassion for them. And so we're with you. We're with you. Good morning,
Yes.
Gio.
Good morning. Yes, we shall continue to create a space for that compassion.
Yeah.
It's difficult to create awareness without guilt, and I think the guilt is not necessary, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so let's keep creating that and that kind of brotherhood and sisterhood that makes a difference. So today, I am excited today because today we're going to be talking about the 3 pitfalls that will keep you from growing in your relationships and in your business. So I'll say that again. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 pitfalls that will keep you from growing your relationships and your business. These are critical pitfalls. Like every Mondays and Fridays, we talk about mindset and leadership. This one is another one for the archives. This is going to truly support you in your quest, in your commitment to have strong relationships at home and at work, and also for those of you who are, committed to your professional growth and making more money. Your access to making more money is to lead others effectively. So today we're gonna discover the 3 pitfalls. Now, I'm gonna set you up, Sorrel, a little bit so that you can tell us the context. What happens if we don't pay attention to these pitfalls that most people are dealing with?
Pitfalls are, the word pit makes a difference. A pit is a hole, and fall means you fall in that hole. And in business and in relationships, you the listener might find it difficult to get that, oh my God, I meant well. I wanted to do this. And yet here I am in a pitfall, a situation that's not working as well as I'd like it to in a relationship or in my business. So there are 3 things that happen, not just frequently. If you're not paying attention to these pitfalls, Gio, those 3 things will be present in your relationships, in your business. You'll find that you and your teams, or you and your mate, or you and your friends are not communicating as well as you'd like it to. Situations that easily could be handled end up in conflict. So there isn't something called a shared truth. People are running on their own point of views, and conflict arises right and left. That's the first one. The second one is that it's difficult to be really creative. As you may realize in your business and in your relationships, the relationships and the businesses you run on communication and on creativity. Unless you're communicating, creativity ends up being a solo affair. And when creativity is a solo thing, I'm limited to what's in my brain, and I cannot tap into yours. That's the second one. Creativity and progress get stifled. Last but not least, you may find yourself alone at the top. You've heard the phrase, it's lonely at the top. When you're the boss, when you're the one in the relationship that's pushing it, you find yourself isolated. When you do not take care of tending to seeing those pitfalls and avoiding them effectively, communication suffers, creativity suffers, and by golly, you may not want it. You get to work alone for the rest of your life. And that's a bad thing. Those are the three things that people get to watch out for. If those things are in your life, it's very likely that you've fallen into one of the pitfalls. So, Gio, I'm now setting you up to begin with the first pitfall, or maybe share from your own perspective how one of those pitfalls have mired either your relationships or your business.
Yeah, you know, one of the things you said, Sorel, is that that captured my attention is when you said it's lonely at the top. What I have found, it's a very incomplete sentence, Sorel, avoiding, in my opinion, because we're gonna go over the three pitfalls that anyone can find themselves in trying to build a life they love. But before we do that, you said it's lonely at the top. In my life, I have found that it can be lonely everywhere. It's not lonely at the top or only at the top, and it's not lonely at the bottom. The bottom is too crowded. That's not necessarily the real experience for human beings find themselves alone at any place in life,
Yeah.
whether they are at the top of their career or whether they are starting their career or whether they are at a breakdown in their career or in life. People have the experience of feeling alone,
Yeah. Even if they have
and
a ton of people around them.
even if there's a lot of people around them, and avoiding these pitfalls, it's critical for those of you who are listening in the context of creating progress and teams and people to move forward and your family to move forward. So here's the first one. Here's the first pitfall in communication and leadership, whether it's at home or whether it's at work. Here's the first pitfall. Now, as I'm going to say it, if you're listening, you're likely going to resist what I'm about to say. Sorel and I normally take like an hour to create context to what we're about to say. And this time we're not going to create context. So we're going to leave it as a seed. Here's the first pitfall. The first pitfall is that you for yourself, find a way to not look for the truth inside of communication with someone. In communication, in our relationship, the truth will not set you free. I know that's a little controversial, or that's a little weird thing to hear when you have been hearing for many years, decades, that phrase that says the truth shall set you free. Not in relationships and not in communication. In relationships and in communication, the truth will not set you free. The truth will capsulate you in your own point of view. And the more you hold on to a truth, something that you see true for yourself, the more you get stuck looking for evidence for what you say is true. But here's the problem. The more I hold on to what I say is true, the problem is that in communication with another human being, the more they start holding on to what they say is true. So when you have two people holding on to their truth, normally what happens is division. Normally what happens is unhealthy debate. Normally what happens is an upset. So as someone who's interested, I don't like to use the word leader so much, Sorel, because a lot of people don't see themselves as leaders, even though they are leaders of their lives. But I'm going to use the word leader. As a leader of your life, as someone who's committed to move the ball forward with your family and in your business, This is one of your pitfalls. This is a pitfall. To look for the truth as if the truth will create relationships. The truth doesn't create relationships. What creates a relationship, what has people work together, is your ability to listen for someone else's point of view. Or another way of saying it, to listen for somebody else's truth, validate their point of view, validate the experience of their point of view, their experience of the truth. And in that artful way of validating another person's point of view, then, like magic, they, at that point, you create a space for them to validate your truth, or another way of saying that, your point of view. So that's the pitfall. And I know if you're someone who holds on to the truth, I know you have a lot of chaos in your life, in your
Yeah.
relationships. I know. I do this every day. Go ahead, Sorrel. Sorry.
Yeah, Gio, what you're pointing to is critical because it's innate for me as a human being to come to any conversation, any party, any team environment, and bring my opinion and my point of view with me, attached to my emotions about that point of view. And in that space, the opinion I have, the point of view I have is for me, the truth. That's the pitfall we're pointing to. That everyone, including you, comes to the party with a truth. And in that space, it's natural, normal for me, for you, for others to be defending that. And that's what creates the conflict. That's what stifles communication. That's what leaves me isolated in any environment. So given that, what we're pointing to as the way to get out is to recognize that. I do, you do, others come to the party with a truth that's not really the truth. And when I can presence that for myself, it opens up a world where communication, collaboration, and teamwork can happen. That's pitfall number one, Gio.
Yeah. One of the things I want to say, one more thing, Sorrel, about what you're saying. One of the things that we get to do is to coach people at different levels of an organization, at the C level, for billion-dollar companies, for companies that make $100 million, and for companies who are making $50,000 a year. And this pitfall, it's across the board. Across the board, we see this chaos anywhere. And this is something for me to watch out for, what you're pointing to. It's also for me to watch out in my life with my team and in my family. And that is that intuitively, automatically, I'm going to defend my truth.
Yeah.
I'm going to defend what I think is right. And even as a coach, automatically, by default, I'm not objective about what comes out of my mouth. It's all subjective of what comes out of my mouth. This morning, Sorrel, I'll say this real quick. So I told Maya, I always tell stories about Maya. Maya is my daughter. She's 7 years old. So I told Maya.
Maya's not 7. She's
8. She's 8. She's 8 now. Sorry. I told Maya, hey, Maya, for every A that you bring, I'm going to give you $20. $10 for every A you bring. And she's like, deal. Now, she's in a gifted program too. So she gets 2 different report cards. So last night, she comes to my office and she says, hey, I got a new report card. And this report card has 10 different subjects. So she got A's on all 10 different subjects.
That's $100.
You owe me $100. And I was like, I just paid you on the other report card. And she says, what are you talking about? I have 2 report cards. You never told me I can only use one. And I said, Maya, I paid you like almost $100 on the other one too. And she says, no, you told me that you were going to pay me A's on my report cards. You didn't say that I had to have only one report card, right? And I want to give Maya money, right? And I want to acknowledge her and encourage her to continue to do hard work. But I could tell, Sorel, I could tell that last night she was getting a little feisty because she really thought I was not going to pay her. And she's like, no, you said. Now, Manisha was around, and then Manisha kind of de-escalated the situation. Manisha said, you should do your contracts a little more tighter. It is, you said report cards. You didn't say which one. So I think you owe her money. Now, this was trivial. This was fun, but it wasn't for Maya for a moment. It was her truth. It was her truth. People come to the parties to their truth, with their truth. So it's critical for you as a leader of your life to not hold on to it. The truth will not set you free inside of a relationship, inside of communication. It's your ability to captivate other people's point of view and validate the experience of their point of view. So let's go to the second trap, Sorel.
Let's go to the second one, and let's do this the third one also quickly, because we're at 17 after, and let it fly, man. So the second one is this. This is really cool, right? Now, we were talking about that yesterday. When somebody says, if someone comes to you and says, this is your performance, you've scored 90. Your immediate reaction is to find out what other people around you have scored. So the second trap is the trap we call comparison. As a human being, me, you, others, whether you're in business, in a relationship, wherever you are, your brain is always comparing your performance, what you're doing, what you're not doing, what you're saying, what you're not saying, to what other people around you are doing, or to what the environment around you says is the standard. So you are always operating, I am always operating in business, in teams, against a set of standards that are external to me. So in comparing myself, in comparing my performance, in comparing my teams to others, in comparing my own performance, even to my past performance, I stay in a space where my growth, my creativity is limited. It's as if I can only perform up to the level of what I'm comparing myself to or my past performance to. That's the second trap. To notice that you, your team, your company, wherever you are, you're playing the game of competing against an external standard that's established by nothing other than the external environment.
Yeah, let me say that differently, Sorrel.
Yeah.
Let me say that in different words. Yeah. So the second trap is judgment. The second trap is comparing oneself to others or to yourself. Now, this is a very sneaky one also, because smart human beings like yourself and like myself will not just declare themselves as judgmental. No, God forbid. If you say, oh my goodness, I am judgmental, then the world is going to judge me. So no, I am not judgmental. I am a blank slate. I don't judge people. Now, being human is to judge. Being human is to compare oneself. Your access to not compare yourself with others or with yourself is to notice that you're doing it. I'm going to say it again. Your access to not judge yourself and others is to notice that you're doing it. Okay, I'm going to say it again because that's not landing yet.
Hang on one second. I want to prime the pump for you and say this. I, you, and others are never not judging. It comes with the package. So my access to, if I hear you correctly, you're saying that my access to not judging in a moment is noticing that I am judging.
And I'm doing it. Yes.
Bam.
That's the access. Now, are we telling you the truth? Go back to pitfall number one. No, this is not the truth. It's a point of view. But you could see it for yourself when you walk into a meeting, that meeting that you care about. This is something important. What gets you all nervous or all tied up is because, and anxious, is because you're comparing yourself. It's because you're judging the environment. Am I going to do this right? Am I going to do it wrong? Are those people smarter than me? Am I smart enough? It's all inside of comparing oneself. It's all inside of comparison. So if you could notice yourself doing it, if you could notice yourself doing it and getting to that blank slate, into that space of that, into that space of no judgment, and in that kind of being present to the environment, being present to people, however they are works, however you are works, whatever your past was whatever your past was. If you can get to that space of blank, you're powerful. You can create with others. Other people feel it. You don't get intimidated, and other people don't get intimidated by you. So that's the second pitfall. I wish I could go farther with that. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. But we'll go to the third one. Go ahead, Sorrel.
You take care of the second pitfall. You're able to ask questions like, hey, what's possible for us? Curiosity is available. But when you look at pitfall number one, the truth, as my point of view, you look at pitfall number two, me comparing myself to others and the environment. I am left in a space where I must, even though I don't notice that I'm doing it, I must isolate myself so I can keep my truth and keep my comparisons. So pitfall number three is a lack of guidance and growth challenges, the space where I work to do it alone. I have no coach, I have no mentor, I don't have a mastermind. I am the center of the universe. The truth is as I say it, and I'm the standard bearer. So in that space, without mentors, without coach, without a mastermind, I get to the space where I'm performing at this level, and for me, it's the highest, and I never grow past it. So pitfall number three, Gio, is working it alone, being a lone ranger, and thinking that I get to wear that as a badge of honor because I'm working hard and I'm working solo, and people are watching me, and I'm shining in a world of comparison and in the world of my truth.
Completely. So here's the deal. And this is something I dealt with for many, many years. And most of you are dealing with this. And some of you, very, very few of you actually will get what we're saying, what we're trying to point to. The third pitfall is to not have mentorship. The third pitfall is to not be part of a mastermind. The third pitfall is to not hire a coach for your life. Now, if you can't afford a coach or someone inside of your career, not be part of a community that is pushing you, that is challenging you. That's the third pitfall. For the most part, I'm going to speak for myself, Sorrel. For many years, I was sold the idea, or I bought the idea, that I've got to figure it out on my own. That somehow, if I ask Kurt for help, if I ask you for help, if I ask Emily for help, somehow, if I try to get perspective from others, it means that I lack something. That there's something missing over here that I couldn't figure it out on my own. So that was for many, 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 many years. I'm not talking about in my teenage years. I'm talking about my 20s and in my 30s. I'm trying to figure out on my own. Now, I have no results that I'm proud of. Yes, I've survived. Yes, I have a job. Yes, I went to school. But the kind of results I really wanted to have in my life, I couldn't have them because I only have access to my own reflections. I can only reflect from my own thinking. Until I met people like you, Sorrel, and I met people like Kurt, quite by chance, quite by accident, that forced me to be part of a community that thought different than me. I mean, I was really forced. I signed up to this program, Sorrel, right, in which I met you, right? I signed up for a program, and a friend of mine invited me, and I went there with my arms crossed like this. What could you possibly teach me? I'm a first-time immigrant. I lived on the streets. I've been homeless. I am the shit. And you can't tell me anything, right? And as I was going through the program, I was like, I went from this to like, oh my God, I don't know anything. Yeah. Like really like that. And then the program was over, and then I was invited to meet you and other people. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I already figured it out. I have my life figured out. And then this person said this, and it was brilliant. This person said, okay, and I don't remember who this was, right? It says, okay, well, how is it going? How is that working out for you? How is doing things your way working out? And at that point, I had a mess in my life, a royal mess. And when she asked, how is that working out, doing things your way? It was a moment of authenticity and honesty with myself. It's not working out. Yes, it's true I have a job. Yes, it's true I eat every day, but my life is not working out. I'm not leading effectively my life, neither the people in my life. So was I able to put that puzzle together? Through community, through masterminds, through coaching. So here are the 3 pitfalls.
One.
And if you fall in this, you can't build strong relationships or grow your business. The first one is the art and science of discovering that there is no truth. There's no truth to hold on to. 2, the art and science to discovering for yourself that you're always judging. Yep. And your access to not judge is to see that you're judging. And the third one is to be part of a mastermind, to hire a coach, to be part of a community that will challenge the way you think, your perspectives. Those are the 3 pitfalls. If you find yourself not distinguishing these 3 pitfalls in your life, you could see what needs to be adjusted. Go ahead, sir.
Absolutely, because it will be right there in your life. Communication and conflict. Conflict and communication and relationship will be present. Your teams won't be performing as well as you'd like them to. You will be rehashing and regurgitating the past ideas, and creativity will be stifled. And last but not least, you are alone. Wherever you are alone, justifying your truth and validating the standards you set through comparisons. Well, we're promising you a great life. And all you have to do is notice those pitfalls and take a different action. Gio, it's 28 after, brother. Right under the wire. Questions, comments? Anyone? If not, we'll
comments, questions, yeah buts. I love yeah buts.
All right, Gio. Well, in a world where people discover the 3 pitfalls we've covered this morning, the opportunity exists, the possibility is real, and the window and the door is wide open for people to love. You will find the capacity to love the people whose truths are different from yours. You will find the capacity to stress less, because in a world where you do not have to defend the truth and you have released others of the burden of defending their own, my God, stress just dissipates like crazy. And in a world where you're not comparing yourself, and in a world where you are not alone, you can laugh. Because guess what? You'll discover that all of the judgments you notice, all the comparisons you notice are really quite humorous. And in that space, you'll give yourself the permission to eat mostly plant-based. You will feed your body in a way that works. Gio, you said it yesterday and the day before, no processed food. Please do not eat processed foods. See those chips, those candy bars? Stay away from them. And exercise in a place where you're not comparing, you don't have the truth, and you are with others. There's the propensity to give that you can surrender to that will leave you living a life that you love. And you'll sleep better, because who you are is someone who at every turn is checking your truth, checking your comparisons, and looking around and seeing if you are alone or not. You deserve a great life, and we're here at the Daily Huddle to help you create that. We're on YouTube at the Daily Huddle, and we're here every morning at 9 a.m. Get ready tomorrow morning for Christy Bailey who will give you what you need to communicate and build relationships. So see you here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Gio, anything you want to say about this Friday?
No, it's all right. Go ahead.
All right. Well, this is it. Giovanni, myself, Rita Williams, Sheila James, this Friday will be leading together at the Laudermilk Conference Center a conversation for leadership legacy for 2030. You will walk out having created a vision that leaves you enlivened and lit up. So come join us this Friday at the Laudermilk Center. We'll post on our social media the link for you to join us and all that good stuff. And we'll look forward to seeing you there and creating 2025 and beyond with you. Until then,